Brilliance Audio presents The Rational Bible, Genesis by Dennis Prager, performed by Tom Parks. Genesis is the first book of the Bible. This commentary on Genesis, however, is the second volume of my 5-volume commentary on the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah. The beginning of Genesis is probably the best-known story in world history, containing, as it does, God's creation of the world, Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden, Cain and Abel, the flood, and Noah's Ark. What is not well known is how this story changed the world. The first verse, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth," alone changed the world. As I explain, this verse asserted for the first time in history that there is one God, that this God is universal as opposed to a tribal God, and that God created nature and is in no way part of it, unlike every other God in history. Genesis also contains the story of the beginning of the Hebrews, the Israelites, the Jews as they later became known, the people who, through the Hebrew Bible, most influenced the world. From the first Hebrew, Abraham, we are taught that arguing with God is not only acceptable, but it is expected. The very name of this people, Israel, means struggle with God. Genesis is filled with human drama that touches and helps every one of us on a personal level. For example, every family in Genesis is what we today would call dysfunctional. I regard this as a divine gift. If your family is dysfunctional, the fact that all the families in Genesis are dysfunctional should provide you with some comfort and solace. I think the Bible is telling us that family dysfunction is a normal, though not necessarily inevitable, part of the human condition. Indeed, all of Genesis is a statement of how troubled the human condition is. The rest of the Bible, especially the next 4 books, provides solutions to the troubled human condition. To put it in medical terms, Genesis describes the patient's, the human being's, pathology, and the books that follow offer the wisdom and moral instruction necessary to cure the patient. Some of the following appeared in the introduction to Exodus. Why this commentary? I have been teaching the Torah all of my adult life and have devoted decades to writing this explanation of and commentary on the Torah. I've done so because I believe if people properly understand the Torah and attempt to live by its values and precepts, the world will be an infinitely kinder and more just place. Since childhood, I've been preoccupied, almost obsessed, with the problem of evil, people deliberately hurting other people. At the age of 16, I wrote in my diary that I wanted to devote my life to influencing people to the good. That mission has animated my life. In a nutshell, I love goodness and hate evil. My favorite verse in the Bible is, "Those of you who love God hate evil." Psalms 97, verse 10. Because of my and the Torah's preoccupation with evil, in this commentary, I frequently cite the 2 most recent examples of mass evil, Nazism and communism. I assume all readers of this commentary have some acquaintance with Nazi evil. Tragically, however, relatively few people have much knowledge of communist evil. So I should note here that communist regimes murdered about 100 million people and enslaved and destroyed the lives of more than 1 billion. If you hate evil, you must confront what Nazis and communists wrought in the 20th century, and what others wrought before them and are doing at this time. I have had one other mission in life, to understand human beings as best as possible. These 2 missions, promoting goodness and attaining wisdom, are linked because it is impossible to do good without wisdom. All the good intentions in the world are likely to be worthless without wisdom. Many of the horrors of the 20th century were supported by people with good intentions who lacked wisdom.